Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about an important tip to make you more successful at math. Now, that tip or trick, whatever you want to call it, is checking your answers when solving for a variable. I know this sounds simple, and I know it's something that we're all cognizant of being able to do, but I think it's something that a lot of us do a lot less often than we should. Whenever you are doing some high stakes math, whether it's a quiz, a test, a homework assignment you don't want to miss a point on, or maybe something really important for a job or something, you always want to check your work. It takes a little bit of extra time, it's not super fun, but it guarantees that you got it right. And we're going to talk about checking our work today when solving for a variable. Now, we're not actually going to be solving these two equations. I'm just going to say, let's imagine we solved number one and we got, let's say 5 is our answer. You solved this in some way, shape, or form, and you got x equals 5. You're like, I think that's right. Now, you could just say, circle it, put it on the test, and submit it. Or you could go back to your original equation and plug in or substitute 5 for x, since we know that's what it's equal to, or that's what we found it's equal to. So I would be able to rewrite this equation while replacing x with 5, and then my goal is that it works out. This side of the equation should be equal to 14 after plugging in my variable. Well, 4 times 5, that's 20, and 20 plus 2, well, does that equal 14? Because 20 plus 2 is 22, and 22, that doesn't equal 14, right? So that goes to show us we did something wrong. Now, this doesn't necessarily help lead you in the direction of how to do something right. It doesn't point out where the mistake in your work was made. But it does show you that you don't have the right answer, that you may need to go back and take a second look at things. Because if we did end up getting the correct answer, if we said, you know what, I bet x is equal to 3, then when we plug this in, 4 times x, or 4 times 3 plus 2 equals 14. 4 times 3 is 12, and 12 plus 2, well, guess what? We get 14 equals 14, just like we wanted. And that goes to show our answer this time was correct. Now let's take a look at a problem like number 2 I have up here as well, because it can sometimes be a little bit more difficult with knowing what exactly am I looking for to check that work when I have variables on both sides. Let's say here we ended up with a value of x equals, let's just go with x equals 3. We can start this off the same way. We want to go ahead and substitute in 3 for our x values. So 3 times 2 times 3 plus 1 equals 4. And we want to go ahead and substitute this in on both sides. So times 3 plus 7. Now what we would do is we would look at each side of the equation and evaluate it using order of operations and see if they're the same thing. So over here, order of operation tells us to look at these parentheses first. Let's go ahead and multiply. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 1 gets us 7. So ultimately we have 3 times 7, or 21 on that side of the equation on the left. Let's take a look at our right side now. 4 times 3, that's 12. And 12 plus 7, that's 19. Do those equal the same number? No. So our number was wrong. 3 didn't work out for us. So let's say we went back, we tried again, found a little mistake somewhere, and we said, okay, let's try out 2 for x. That's what we got. If we plug that in, then let's see what we get. again, we want to use our order of operations. So 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 plus 1 gets us 5. So 3 times 5, we get 15 on the left side. Over here we have 4 times 2, or 8, and 8 plus 7 gives us 15. So just like before, we ended up with the same number on each side of the equal sign. Now we had a little bit more work to do here because we had to solve that little expression on each side, but we were able to do that and prove that the answer we got is correct. So this is something that I find really helpful, and I think that you guys could be able to use to make sure you get as many points as possible on homework, tests, and quizzes. It's also important to remember that whenever you have multiple choice problems, especially when we're looking at tests like the ACT, whenever you're looking for a value of x and it gives you potential values of x, if you're unsure how to solve it, you don't quite know how to go about getting x on its own, never be afraid to do some trial and error with some values it gives you. If it says x has got to be 1, 2, 3, or 4, try out each of those. See which one makes the equation work. See which one makes the equation equal. If you have any questions about this, feel free to drop them below. But otherwise, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.